All right, Unit 12, Day 2, Vectors and Dot Products. You guys ready for this? All right, here we go. So there's what a dot product is. All right, so we have two vectors and we're going to multiply them. So we take the first guys and multiply them. Take the second guys, multiply them, and then we add them up. Okay, it's as simple as that. Here's some properties of dot products. Okay, so you can see it doesn't matter the order of multiplying, that's a cumulative property. If you multiply by 0, you get 0. Number 3 is a distributive property. Number 4 is using the magnitude and squaring it. And number 5, when you multiply, you just multiply one time. So if you take the number outside times vector u, or you could take it times vector v, and then take that product times the other vector, that's all. So just be careful there. Okay? All right, so if we want to actually multiply some of these, so here's example 1, we're going to multiply these two vectors. Okay, so remember, we take the first guys and multiply them. So let's take 4 times 2 plus multiply the second guy. So 5 times 3. Clean that up. And you get 23. Okay, so that's how you find a dot product when you multiply the two vectors. All right, if we look at letter B, so multiply the first two guys. So 2 times 1. Okay, plus, multiply the second guys, -1 times 2. -1 times 2 is -2, so 2 plus -2 is 0. So that's the answer to that dot product. Okay. Here's one more, find the dot product. So multiply the first guys, 0 times 4, plus 3 times -2. All right, if we clean this up, we end up with -6. Okay, and that is how you find a dot product. Okay, so now what if we have something like this? Okay, so we're going to take u times v times w. So what I'm going to do on the side is take u times v on the side. Okay, so vector u times vector v. So that means we're going to take -1 times 2 plus 3 times -4. And we end up with -14. So that's vector, that's the dot product of u times v. Now we're going to take that answer times w. So we found u times v on the side, -14. We're going to take that times w. So in this case, we have to distribute. So that's going to give us -14, +28. So that's your final answer. Now what this means is because it's in component form, our final answer is a vector. So kind of make note of that. Okay? All right, here's another one using those same vectors. Okay? Now what we could do here is kind of rearrange this and say 2 times u times v. All right? Now if you recall in the other example, let me go back to that real quick. We already did u times v and got -14. So we don't have to do it again. So now we have 2 times -14, which is -28. Now, that's not in component form, is it? So we would refer to this as what we call a scalar answer, scalar. Okay? All right, example 3. the dot product of u with itself is 5. What is the magnitude of u? Now, if you recall from one of our properties, if we take the product of u with itself, u times u, it would give us this. Well, that is equal to 5. That's what we're told here. All right. Now, if we want the magnitude, remember the magnitude is just this without the exponent 2. So we're going to use this to help us out. So the dot product of u with itself, u times u, is 5. U times u is equivalent to this, the magnitude squared. So now, if we just do the magnitude of u, to recall from last lesson, it's the square root of u times u. Well, u times u is 5, so we end up with the square of 5. There's your answer. Okay? All right, so that is it with Unit 12, Day 2. It's a nice short unit section. So we do need to end up with a question of the day, of course. So here's our question of the day. What is seen in the middle of March and April that can't be seen at the beginning or end of either month? All right, if you think you know the answer to that, email that to me. And that will conclude Unit 12, Day 2. Go Cougars!